It doesn't matter if you've been thinking about starting a podcast or a business or a YouTube channel or anything else. If you're thinking about it, you've probably had those thoughts of doubt. What if nobody listens? What if we don't sell anything? What if this doesn't work? I get it. I've had those feelings as well. I still get them sometimes. But I told those voices to shut their holes. And I took a shot and it worked. And if I can do it, you can do it. And it's going to be easier than you think because you can have Shopify on your side. Shopify is like the greatest employee you will ever hire because they can take so much off your to-do list. They have hundreds of ready-to-use website templates so you can get your website up and running ASAP. They can help you create email and social media campaigns so you can reach your customers wherever they happen to be scrolling. And maybe most importantly, Shopify is your commerce expert, helping with everything from inventory management to shipping orders internationally. And if you ever get stuck, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 customer support is there to help you out. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 366, and it's one of our prestigious Patreon poll-winning episodes. And we're going to talk about the winner of our sequels poll of a few months ago, and that, of course, is Metroid Prime 2 Echoes for the Nintendo GameCube. Metroidvanias are up there with platformers, kart racers, and tactical RPGs as my absolute favorite genres in all of video games. I adore Samus. I really like the Metroid series, and Metroid Prime 1 is, in my opinion, 1A and 1B as the best Metroid game ever made alongside Metroid Dread. I'd probably give the tie to Metroid Dread because 2D over 3D always, but those are the two best Metroid games in my opinion. So I've been really, really excited to play Metroid Prime 2 to see how it follows up to the OG juggernaut that was the original Metroid Prime. And I recently reviewed December's Metroid Prime 4 over on Expansion Pass, and I liked it quite a bit despite all of its faults. It wasn't great, but it's pretty good despite its faults. So I was very, very stoked for this review because I've been wanting to play Metroid Prime 2 for quite a long time now. And I know some of you have asked me not to spoil my thoughts and my basic review of the game here during the intro, so I'm not going to get into any great detail as to why. And believe you me, my friends, I've got a lot to say about Metroid Prime 2. But I will just kick the show off by saying it's not that Metroid Prime 2 isn't good. It's very good, but it was a very mixed bag for me. Once I didn't finish it. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't finish it. I'll talk about that in the review. I got pretty close. I got pretty close to the end. I didn't quite get to the end. I didn't get across the finish line. But once I put it down, I did as I always do with these games when I play them for the first time. I went online and was like Googling old Reddit threads and message boards and just kind of seeing, what the consensus is. And am I so out of touch with the game if I don't like it as much as everybody else seems to? And from what I can find online, Metroid Prime 2 seems to be the most divisive among the original Metroid Prime trilogy. Some think it's the best in the series. Some think it's too hard and frustrating. And I'm very conflicted on this one. It's going to be a tricky review because I do think it's hard, but I don't think it's too hard. And I do think it's very good, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Prime 1. I think it's a very good game that just didn't really hit with me. And so it's going to be one of those reviews where I'm like, here's why it kind of irritated me at times, but here's why I still think it's a borderline masterpiece of a video game. So you know what, we'll get the intro out of the way and then we'll unpack this one. Like I said, I have a lot to say about it. Admittedly, as I record this infamous intro, I'm not sure what to say about Metroid Prime 2 and about our conversation because it hasn't happened yet. But joining me this week is our resident Metroid junkie and power-hungry Discord mod, my friend Stpd Mnky, and we're going to get into it in just a minute, talking about Metroid Prime 2. I'm sure we did great and didn't upset anyone online at all with our controversial takes, all right? And we're going to get into all that in just a couple of minutes, because speaking of upsetting people online, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. And listen, consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long. They're not that long. They are kind of long, though, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff, and you don't need to go in and out of half a dozen fucking portals to find your way through them. It's very simple. If you want to get past it, just take that little slider and go to right around the 30-minute mark, and you should be in the Metroid Prime 2 talk, and no need to yell at me. Or listen to the whole thing and see why the internet loves the infamous intro. But some do, some don't. But I do get a lot of comments from people saying they like it. So I don't know. I like it. God damn it. And I call the shots, so I'm keeping it. So anyways, let me get my plugs out of the way really quickly. It's how we keep the bills on, if you'd allow me. We have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And like, I know everybody under the sun has a Patreon right now, and they're like, hey, go to our Patreon, give us a couple of bucks, you get an extra show every couple of weeks or whatever the fuck. No. And remember the game. You get new podcasts daily. Most weeks. It's fucking insane. We publish up to 4 additional shows in a week. They have no ads in them. Plus, you get Remember the Game every Wednesday, including all 366 back cataloged episodes, 100% ad-free with timestamps. And our subscriptions start for just as little as $3 a month. And not only do you get Remember the Game ad-free, and not only do you get new podcasts most weeks, but you can also write into the podcast, play along with Play One, Remake One, Erase One, vote on the games we cover. We're running our pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza right now, which is 64 games playing down to 1 all through the month of February. So if you sign up for Patreon, you can vote in all of those. You can join our almost 1,500 member Discord, which is awesome. And you get instant access to the entire bonus podcast archives of Expansion Pass, which is another gaming show we do every week, and Game Patch, our gaming news show. And then if you go to our $5 tier, you also get 130 some episodes of Purple Monkey Dishwasher, our Simpsons podcast with me and Mark McHugh, and The Rambling Idiot. There's over 250 of those, I think. And that's just me talking about whatever the fuck I want. So, and beginning in 2026, I started doing streams Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you're on Patreon, you can check some of those out as well. And on top of all those other perks, you get a shout out, which is probably the biggest one. I get to hear me mispronounce your name, like I'm certainly going to do to one of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Alejandro Montellano. If I didn't butcher that, that's about the sexiest name I've ever heard. I hope I got that right. Eric Noon, or No One. Your last name's not No One. I'm going Noon. Eric Noon, Alex Davies, DJ, Paul Wahlberg, AJL, the Marine Time Musician, Christian Haynes, and Dustin Jack. Dude, AJL, I'm not sure if I copied your name down wrong. I wrote him down, and I feel like it was DJL. I'm going to check, because I don't want to get your name wrong. I'm going to double check. But thank you all for the support. And welcome to Remember the Game Industries. Like I said, you can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. Pretty much the greatest value in the history of the internet, presuming you like the annoying sound of my voice. If you don't like my voice, our Patreon's kind of a ripoff. No, it is AJL. I got it right the first time. You know what? I'm sorry to do this, AJL. Double secret probation. That's the fastest I've ever given someone double secret probation. But double secret probation for making me think I said your name wrong. It's not your fault, but someone's got to pay the price, and I'm not going to take it. So thank you all for the support. I appreciate it. If you want to check out our Patreon for free, there's some free episodes over there. You can see how it all works. And again, subscriptions start at $3 a month. And if you sign up for a full year, we'll give you the 12th month on the house. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Oldfinger, who wrote in and said, since you've introduced the retro game ads, do you keep a list of already played ads so as not to repeat them? And do you plan on repeating ads at some point? I enjoy them. How is this implementation going for you? Thank you, Oldfinger. Dude, I gotta say, listen, very, very rarely do I pat myself on the back, but I'm pretty proud of my idea of taking other people's creative work in these old video game ads and inserting them into my show, because the feedback on us playing the retro game ads in the commercial slots has been nothing short of fantastic. So I'm glad all of you are enjoying them. I love watching them. The only problem, I'll answer your question in a second, Oldfinger, but the only problem I'm running into with playing the old game ads, obviously the audio quality of some of them is kind of rough, and that's just TV in the 80s and 90s and shit. It is what it is. There's a lot of, especially more modern games. Like I found a couple of dope Metroid Prime commercials, but there's hardly any audio. Like they're just visual. There's one where it's like Samus just going through a fucking like layer shooting people, and it's awesome to watch. But there's like no audio, and I'm like, there's no talking, like that doesn't really translate into a podcast. So I'm doing my best as far as the commercials go. To answer your question, dude, I don't keep a list, but basically all I do every week now is I have like this external hard drive. I have all my old podcasts on it. I got tons of like game music, excuse me. And then every week when I do a Remember the Game now, I go and find a couple of commercials. I actually find them the day of the recording, and then I just add them to the archives on the expansion drive. So if they're on my drive, chances are they've been in an episode before. So I'm not really keeping track. It's just kind of, I'm building up a collection. At some point, I'll probably repeat them. Like if we revisit a game and I've already used its commercial, I'll probably use it again. But there's not really a lot of rhyme or reason to the system. But I'm glad people are enjoying them, man. I'm pretty proud of that. I've been thinking about doing. Remember when you'd watch like a cartoon and they'd be like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will return after these messages. I've been thinking about making like an actual audio soundbite of those. Like something like that. Be like, we now return to Remember the Game instead of just me saying it. But I'm a lazy fuck and I'm not very good at computers. But I've been thinking about doing that. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying the ads. I am enjoying it myself. Dayton Hamilton says, hey, Adam, do you hate your job in regards to you can't just sit down and relax with a game even after completing it because you got to hop into the next one? I remember you saying in your episode that you loved Grand Theft Auto 5 and would love to go back, but you also told me on stream that you probably wouldn't touch it again due to the games you need to play for the show. If that's the case, how you holding up? Do you ever make downtime for yourself and just play what you want to play? Cheers and take care. Thanks, Dayton. I do talk about this on the show fairly regularly. Sorry for some of you that have like heard me talk about how I play games for the show before, but it's probably the number one question I get. It drives me crazy when like DSP is the fucking word. God, I hate Darkside Phil. But like, he'll be like, I already answered that. Go back and watch the podcast from last week. You'll find the answer. Go fuck yourself. I don't mind answering the same questions every few weeks. So if you've heard this before, I apologize, but it has absolutely like, make no mistake, all right? I love this job. I'm not complaining about the job. I love what I do. I'm so blessed to be able to play video games for, like, I've had hard jobs. I've had to go drive for, it's a blizzard here in Edmonton right now. I'm looking out the window. We're getting like 30 centimeters of snow today. It's like minus 30. It fucking sucks outside. Like, I've driven a forklift in that and had to get off the forklift constantly and, like, use cat litter and a shovel and get it moving again and shit. Like, I know how lucky I am to be able to, like, go down to my couch in the morning with my coffee and start playing a video game for the show. So I'm not complaining. But, yes, it has absolutely changed the way that I play video games. Sometimes I do want to, Grand Theft Auto 5 was a perfect example. Sometimes I do want to put more time into a game or do a second run or experiment with some of the post-game content. I never did finish the post-game of Expedition 33, even though I really wanted to. It was my game of the year last year, I guess spoiler, because I just didn't have time. Like, I try to basically beat a game a week for Remember the Game, or if not beat it. Like, I didn't beat Metroid Prime 2, but I got about 75% of the way through it. I like to take at least a sizable chunk out of a game I'm going to review before I review it. And then in addition to playing the games for the show each week, I'm also trying to keep up with modern video games as best I can. Plus, like I try to have a life outside of just playing video games, which is what I do with 90% of my awake time when I'm within the walls of this home. So it has definitely changed the way I play. It isn't too often now that I just sit down and play a game for fun. I would love to have more time to do that, but when I do it, I usually feel guilty. My Patreon streams, the 11 to 1 o'clock Mountain Time streams I do for Patreon, have kind of become my fun gaming time. Like I did that Super Mario World ROM hack, which it wasn't for content. It was just for fun. Now I'm replaying Resident Evil 4 Remake for the first time in a couple of years and just having a good time with it, just playing it for fun. So like, and then sometimes when I stream on Twitch, I'll play like an old wrestling game, or I've been working on Battletoads for the NES. And in those instances, I'll play for fun. But it's not too often now that I just sit down and play a game, like just whatever old game I want to play for me, away from the podcast. Not because I don't want to, but because I just don't have time. Like it's really, dude, like it's fuck. And especially like, it's one thing when we do NES games and like Super Nintendo and Genesis games that you can review after playing them for like an hour or two, but like when you get into some of the like next month, for example, in March, I'll let y'all, like Metroid Prime 2 was exactly like, that's not a short game. And next month for Metroid, or for March, we're planning to review Tubin on the NES, which is a very quick review, but then Max Payne and Fear. And I don't know how long I can't remember how long Max Payne is. It's been a long time since I played it, and I haven't played Fear in a while. But even when people are like, dude, it's only like an 8-hour game, I'm like, dude, 8 hours is a long fucking game. Like it's not a long game, but that's a sizable portion of game. So like trying to keep up is not easy. So I guess, yeah, to answer, very long-winded answer to your question, it has absolutely changed the way I play games. I don't know if I enjoy games. It's hard to enjoy. like, I do still enjoy games. I love playing video games, but I don't think I enjoy them the way I did before it became my job. I remember reading an interview with a reviewer from IGN years ago, and they were like, dude, games just don't hit the same when you're on a clock and you got to finish it as fast as you can, and you're kind of rushing through it. You can't stop and savor it and play it like you would play it if you were just playing it after work for the day. And now that I've been doing this for almost 8 years, like, I get it. And they're not wrong. And it's still, I wouldn't trade this job for the world. You know, I really love doing it. But yeah, admittedly, the way I look at video games has changed for, I guess it's almost like a monkey's paw thing in a very slight way. It's not like a monkey's paw in the sense of, the turkey's a little dry on my turkey sandwich and my life is ruined. But it is like, hey, can I make a living playing video games? And the monkey's paw curls, and it's like, you just won't quite enjoy them like you used to. And that's a trade I'm willing to make. You know, it is what it is. So. Tins wrote in and said, hey man, I know you don't like Majora's Mask, and that's cool. I'll never knock you for it, but I'm a little confused on your reasoning. You said you've beaten Ocarina of Time twice, and you sort of kind of give it the credit it deserves sometimes. Then you say the controls and menuing in Majora's are atrocious, but both of those things are pretty much the same in Majora, with the menuing actually being smoother and quicker. So what gives? Anyway, I'm probably overthinking it, but it's something that forces a side eye out of me when it's mentioned. Cheers. All right. I wasn't going to read this one because I don't feel like dealing with the angry people that are like, you hate Majora's Mask, I hope you get AIDS, like people fucking do over other games. But let's unpack it. For those that don't know, it's the one episode of Remember the Game that I wasn't on. I can't remember what number it was, 205, I think. It was in the 200s. Mark and Bradley McHugh guest hosted an episode of Remember the Game and reviewed Majora's Mask because I just don't like Majora's Mask, and I'm sorry to all of you that love it. And whenever I get asked about, like, hey, if you could remake one old game, what is it? The answer for me is always Majora's Mask, because I don't like the controls in Ocarina of Time either. I finished Ocarina of Time, but I don't like the control scheme in it. I find it very frustrating, and I grew up with the Nintendo 64. I was playing Ocarina of Time like the day it came out, so don't come at me as like you had to be there. I was fucking there, motherfucker. I just hate the way those games fucking control. I don't hate Ocarina of Time quite as much on the 3DS, but I still don't particularly like the way it controls. I've just gotten through it because I like the story, and I'm interested in what's going on, and I have nostalgia for going into Hyrule Field and stuff as much as the next person. I have no nostalgia for Majora's Mask. I didn't pick it up back when it came out, and I have tried to play both the 3DS and Nintendo 64 versions of it, and I'm like, I still hate these fucking controls, and I disagree on the menus. I disagree. I hate the fucking menu system in Majora's Mask, and I love the concept. I like roguelikes. I like that pressure of the time counting down and all that kind of shit. I should love Majora's Mask, but between I don't like the way the menus work. I don't like the way the controls are. I'm constantly rolling off things I don't mean to do and doing things I don't want to do and fucking up my time and then having to fucking start over and fucking do it again on a game that I don't fucking like to begin with. I hate that fucking game, but I love the concept of it. So I hope it's remade someday. So I'm sorry that I'm giving you the side eye effect, Tins, but I'm just done. Like, I don't like that fucking game. I don't think it controls well. I don't like the menu. I want to love it. There's no game I want to see a remake of more. Give me like a modern remake with good controls and shit, and I'd be all over it. But I don't like it. So, and I've been hard on the 64 since I started the show. I got a 64 when it launched, or shortly after it launched for my birthday. And I fucking don't like that thing. Like, outside of the 4 THQ wrestling games and Mario Kart 64, I have memories of playing the Mario parties and GoldenEye and Mario Tennis and all those things with everybody else. But there hasn't been a lot of other games where I think they control particularly well. Even Mario 64, which I've grown to appreciate, and I obviously respect what it did for gaming. I don't like the way those games control. They just don't work for me. Like, they just drive me up the fucking wall. So I straight up, like, I will not give Majora's Mask another chance. Like, I've given it too many chances. It's done now until we get a remake. If we get a remake, I'll go back. But until then, I'm done. I'm so sick of fucking with that goddamn game, man. I'm just done. Fuck, it makes me so angry. Go ahead and send your hate mail. rememberthegame@gmail.com. I don't even, like, go ahead. Fucking get after it. I don't fucking care. And most of you are nice, but there's always a few that are just like, you don't like a game I like. I hope your family dies in a car crash. And I'm just like, yeah, keep living your good life, buddy. Rush's Dog Walker says, hello, Mr. Blank. Were your parents like mine and all games were Nintendo when they clearly weren't? Also, is it NES or NES? Yes, my parents were like that, as most parents in the 80s were. All video games were Nintendo. It didn't matter if it was Sega, PlayStation, Jaguar, 3DO, board games, everything. Go play Nintendo. Everything was Nintendo. And I gotta be honest, I hate saying both NES and NES. I just prefer saying original Nintendo. But if I have to go with one, I'm going NES. I don't like Nest. That's like saying za for pizza. It just bothers me. Brother Retro says, hey, bud, I haven't blown in your cartridge in quite a while, so I guess I'm overdue. So I'd like to know, do you still blow in your cartridges? I do, and I won't stop even though I know you're not supposed to. It's just a part of me that can't let this one go. What say you, big dog? I don't. I do play my NES fairly regularly, and I love it, but I don't blow in them anymore. I used to. I did. I was just like everybody else. I used to. But now my two go-tos when I can't get an NES game to work in my Nintendo, other than cleaning it with the Q-tip, obviously, are the holding down of the reset button, or I push the game in, I turn it on, and then I just kind of like, I have the game down inside my NES, and then I'll just kind of like push it to the left or right, like an eighth of an inch, and then like hit reset and try again, eighth of an inch left or right, because you just need those pins to line up, and then it works. But I understand why the muscle memory wants you to blow in it. Us old timers blow. That's just what we know how to do. So, Bermuda Penguin 07 says, greetings and salutations, Mr. Blank. After discovering the PS1 Twisted Metal games were on sale on the PSN minus Twisted Metal Small Brawl, I've been on a Twisted Metal kick for the last few weeks. So my question for you is, if you were to enter a Twisted Metal competition, what would be your vehicle of choice and what would your special ability be? I absolutely love listening to your podcast when I'm at work because they help make my graveyard shifts much more tolerable. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Bermuda Penguin. Don't work too hard. Get your sleep. Get your sleep in the daytime, you vampire. If I was going to be in a Twisted Metal, my vehicle of choice would be my very first car, which was a 1993 lime green Honda Civic. I loved that car, and I rolled that car. About a year after I graduated high school, I rolled it in a snowstorm down a ditch and wiped and destroyed it. So that would be my special move, is it just goes into like it just starts rolling. And like I just plow over people. It's just like a little wrecking ball of hell that I loved to this day. Maybe my favorite car that I've owned was my 93 Honda Civic. I really, really liked that car, man. I wish I hadn't rolled that car. Don't roll your cars, kids. AJL says, calling you Adam feels too informal and Mr. Blank feels too formal, so Bladum it is. What's your stance on putting stickers and decals on controllers and consoles? I personally don't put anything on my controllers as I feel it prevent me from fully cleaning them, but I've got a decal for my Switch dock that makes it look like a Super Metroid cartridge. On a whole separate note, I love your show. I've been with the first 110 episodes in about 3 weeks, and I'm looking forward to getting to the games I grew up with, like Ratchet & Clank, Assassin's Creed, and Shadow of the Colossus. Thank you, AJL. I appreciate that. For the record, you can call me Blank. Like, no one in this community seems to. Everybody calls me Mr. Blank because of The Simpsons Mr. Black, and that's all well and good. Most of my friends in real life call me Blank, so feel free to just call me Blank if you guys want to. Call me whatever the fuck you want. Can we call you Uncle Blackie? No. But you can call me just about anything you want. I don't put any stickers on my stuff. I do on my laptop. My laptops are covered in fucking stickers, but I don't put stickers on my consoles, my controllers, or my games. I don't need them all to be pristine, but I want them to keep their original stank. So I don't sticker them, but fucking live your life. Like, I know some people get irritated. The only thing I'll say is, like, if you've got like a really good condition copy of a rare game, if you've got like an Earthbound that's minty fresh, don't sticker it up. Like, leave it nice for the rest of us to someday buy from you. But if it's like the cheap games, live your life. Sticker away. And then finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. The Maritime Musician says, hi, Mr. Blank. You've been on my Spotify Wrapped for the last 3 years. This is my most listened to podcast, and today I finally subscribed to your channel. It's one of the best decisions I've made this year. Thank you, Maritime. 8 years young, but thank you. I appreciate that. My question today is this. In moments where you're not sure how to progress with your career goals, what did you do to help overcome those obstacles? As someone who wants to become a recognized musician, I take it very hard when I can't find a venue to gig, I slack on my media uploads, or I hit a wall with my songwriting. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated, and I thank you for your time. That's a great question, Maritime. Like, I could do a whole episode on that, and I don't know exactly if being a musician is the same as being a stand-up comedian, but I presume it's close because we have to do the stupid media uploads. We have to write jokes instead of songs, and we're constantly trying to find somewhere to let us tell jokes. I say we, but I'm like, I haven't done comedy in 10 months, so I should shut up. But like, comedians do that. I know this is horrible advice that I wouldn't give anybody, but I kind of threw myself into the deep end. I'd only been a comedian for 10 months when I quit my job to just try to be a comedian. I was having a bad run at Uline. I hated that fucking place. And my girlfriend Shaylee was like, you hate it there, fucking quit. She's like, try comedy, and if it doesn't work, then you'll find another job. And she was right. So I quit, and so then when I quit and started trying to just be a comedian full time, Then the drive wasn't like, it's a double-edged sword because it increased my drive from a work ethic standpoint. I was sending like hundreds of emails a week just to anybody I could find to see if I could book a show or get a spot. And for every 200 or 300 emails I send, I'd get 5 or 10 maybes. And then for every 10 or 15 maybes, I'd get 1 yes. Like, so it was a ton of fucking rejection. But I just knew that going in, right? So the reason that quitting my job helped with that was because it was like, well, do this or don't eat food. So that was my motivation, was like, I don't have a choice. That said, I wouldn't recommend to somebody that has a good paying job to just quit their job to try to become an artist, a comedian or a musician or whatever the fuck. It will definitely, it's like throwing yourself into the deep end to learn how to swim. You will fucking learn how to swim. But I'll also warn you, dude, like, and I've learned this lesson twice now, both with comedy and with video game podcasting. Once something becomes your job, it's the dream, right? When it's not your job, it's the dream. But once it becomes your job, there is a sizable portion of it that becomes a lot less fun. So I'm not saying don't chase your dream and become a musician for a living. Like, fuck yeah, do that shit. But just like every comedian I know that made it to the point where they were making a living as a comedian had a fondness for the days when it was like, I don't feel like doing this today, so I'm not going to. I don't feel like going to an open mic. I'm not going to tonight. I don't feel like writing tonight, so I'm not going to, because the pressure's not there. I hope that makes sense. So like, if you're still at a point right now where you have a day job and you really want to become a professional musician, like, work hard at it. But like, dude, if you need a day where you're like, I just don't feel like doing this today, or like, fuck, I can't find anywhere to gig today, then like, take a day off once. It's not like, because I'm telling you, dude, once it becomes your job, you can't take that many days off, or else you're not going to be able to pay your rent. So just enjoy the process and enjoy it while you can. Keep your passion as long as you can, because like, I lost my passion for comedy years ago, long after it became my job. And maybe that won't happen to you. It doesn't happen to a lot of comedians. That's why they do it for the rest of their lives. But like, I wish I had had more time in that this isn't my job. I'm just enjoying the ride phase. Same with the podcast, frankly. Like, I still love doing this, but there was something magical about RTG back in the early days when it was like, no, I just do it for fun, you know? So just enjoy the process. Work hard, but don't beat yourself up, man. Just have some fun while you can, because if you make it, you won't have as much freedom as you do right now. I hope that's a good answer. So this has been a very long blowing in the cartridge. People are going to get mad at me because I told them to get to the 30-minute mark for Game Talk, and we're at 25 and a half, and I'm still not. Oh, boy. And we're still not there. So let's switch things up and get to the official game show. Remember the game industries, play one, remake one, erase one. Let's hurry up. Let's go, 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 go. And a huge thank you to Class and Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week we're talking Metroid Prime 2, so I went with 3 Nintendo GameCube games. We've got Mario Sunshine, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and the legendary Super Smash Bros. Melee. And this was actually closer than I expected. I thought Melee was going to run away, but 30% of you said you'd play Smash Melee, remake Twilight Princess, and erase Mario Sunshine. Well over 100 replies. There are some weeks when I go with like a niche bunch of games where I'm lucky if we get 30 replies, but then when I take the big popular games, well over 100. So let me rip through half a dozen of them here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Wolfgang Darren says, I'd play Smash, I'd remake Twilight, and I'd erase Mario Sunshine. This is the best version of Smash ever, so don't fix anything. Remake Twilight into a more HD variety, and as much as I think Sunshine might be my favorite 3D Mario title, it's the one I have less access to than the others, so if it disappeared, would I even know it? I mean, I get your logic, but is really Mario Sunshine's your favorite 3D Mario, Darren? All right. Hey, live your life. I don't hear that very often. That's your favorite one. Have you played Odyssey? All right. No. Go wash cars. Sunshine away. Do your thing. George Swan says, play Super Mario Sunshine, messy camera, weird physics, absolute vibes. This is peak. Nintendo tried something wild and it mostly worked. Flood chaos included. Remake The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This one is begging for a full modern remake. New engine, lighting, quality of life tweaks, tighter combat. Dark Zelda deserves the red carpet treatment. Erase Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's a very painful choice, but its DNA lives on in every Smash that followed it, so the legacy survives. And fair enough. Good, solid logic all the way around. I will remind everybody the rule about removing a game, whatever game you erase, we don't know if it erases the future of the franchise or not. That's just the dice you're going to have to roll. If you erase Smash Melee, maybe there's never been another Smash since 64. We don't know. That's a dice you're going to cast, and you have to live with the consequences. Proud Slurm Addict says, play Twilight Princess because I never have. It's a good reason. Remake Melee to make it fun. The whole series is overrated, but that's another comment. Ooh. And then I absolutely love Mario Sunshine, but I can't get over the kangaroo court that sentences Mario to custodial work on the flimsiest of evidence. No fingerprints, no DNA, just a complete travesty of justice. Add to the fact that Flood has no waterboarding attachment for that little Bowser Jr. means my beloved Sunshine has got to go. Anyone that wants to torture Bowser Jr. is okay in my book. I hate that fucking guy. Fuck, I hate that kid. Layden Hoser says, I like this one. I'm going to start by playing Twilight Princess. It's one I regret not picking up on the GameCube and then again on the Wii, so I'd like to experience it as it is. Then I'm going to remake Mario Sunshine that I just finished making. Next I'm going to play the Mario Sunshine remake that I just finished making. Honestly, I just started playing it for the first time, so I'm not sure what I would do to modernize and beautify it, but I promise you guys will be upset, but still buy it. Last, I might just play Balatro because I erased Smash Bros. I love the game, but these days, I don't have anyone to play with, and I feel like that's where these games really shine, so that's gone. Sorry, folks. A lack of friends. That's a thing I can relate to, my friend. Jet Fuel says, play Melee, one of the absolute GOAT fighting games from a competitive standpoint. Nintendo would surely fuck up all the things that make it great if they ever remade it because they hate tournaments. So just play a new Smash if you want updated graphics. Remake Sunshine. I'm ashamed to say I've never actually played this one, so I can't erase it. Just fix what I've heard are wonky controls with the remake. That leaves Twilight Princess to erase. This one hurts. I love Zelda, but rules are rules, and I still have Ocarina, Majora's, Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword. Haters gonna hate. Skyward Sword fucks. You don't hear that all. I'm going to have to play Skyward Sword eventually. I'm not in a rush to play it, but sometime I'm going to have to see what the story is with this fucking game. And Close Minion says, Melee still has some of the tightest gameplay, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Twilight Princess was updated on Wii U, but could really do with a full remake treatment with updated graphics and quality of life improvements. It would be nice to get a more traditional Zelda game on the Switch too. Then erase Sunshine, because honestly, those are the rules, and Bowser Jr. can go to hell for replacing the amazing Koopalings. That is correct. Fuck Bowser Jr. I hate that fucking kid. I'm going with 22% of you. The runner-up in the poll voted the way I did. So 22% of you got it right, as did Damian Torres, who said, play Twilight Princess because I never did. Remake Sunshine. I played it for the first time with 3D All-Stars, and I get why it's considered the black sheep of 3D Mario. It's still a good game, but it doesn't move the needle all that much after what 64 revolutionized, nor is it as tightly polished as the games that came after it. It's beautiful. I love the concept. I see the brilliance. Better execution can bring out a masterpiece. And then Erase Melee. I know this is a fan favorite. This is what really put Smash on the map after the proof the concept of the first game mostly was, but I'll take the risk and say somehow we'd still eventually get to Ultimate, and I have to play by the rules. Goddamn right. And good answers. That's the reason, or that's not the same logic, but it's the same order I'd go in. I'd play Twilight Princess because I finished Mario Sunshine before, and I've played a lot of Smash Melee, but I never finished Twilight Princess. I had it on the Wii. I hate the Wii. I never finished it. I need to go back. So I'm going to play Twilight Princess. And then I was really torn. Because, like, Sunshine is one of my lesser favorite Mario games, but it's still Mario. Melee is great. And I'm like, fuck, so which one do I remake? Which one do I erase? I'm going to remake Sunshine because I think it needs the remake more than Melee does. Plus, I could kill off Bowser Jr. altogether. And then that means I'm going to erase Smash Melee. It's an iconic game for sure. I have so many great memories of playing it with my friends. But I'm not a huge Smash guy, and I do prefer Smash Ultimate when I am going to Smash. So I can reluctantly, I'm sorry, it's not you. It's HBK, Super Kick, and Ric Flair. Like, I'm sorry, I love you, Super Kick, because I don't need Melee. Thank you, everybody that wrote in, as always. What have I been playing? And then we're going to get into Metroid Prime 2, I promise. I've been playing Metroid Prime 2, which I'll tell you all about in moments here. I've been playing a lot of Mario Tennis Fever. I picked it up at launch. I'm actually going to review it tomorrow on Expansion Pass and let you all know if I thought it was worth the money or not, but I've been playing quite a bit of it because I'm a Mario Tennis junkie. I've been playing God of War Sons of Spartan, the new 2D God of War. I'm only a couple hours in, so I don't have any deep thoughts on it yet, but I'll review in a couple of weeks. So far, so good, though. So far, so good. And then when time presents itself, I've been still chipping away at the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion for a someday episode of RTG, but admittedly, most of my last week has been spent playing Metroid Prime 2. A vast majority of my time has been on Metroid Prime 2. So, okay, we're going to, we'll let a sponsor in here. They'll peddle their wares. I'll give you an old retro gaming ad, and when we get back, it's all Metroid Prime 2, okay? Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Yeah, I knew Mike. We used to hang out a lot. I was with him the first time he tried it. It was his birthday. I feel like it's my fault. I'm the one who bought it for him.
This year, millions of people will lose loved ones to Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, rated T for teen.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your relationships are the only ones that aren't perfect? Especially with social media these days, it's so easy to peek at other people's lives and feel like they have it all together and you're just barely hanging on. But the truth is, nobody's perfect. And whether you're married, you're dating, you're single, therapy can help you have better relationships with the people you care about by helping you identify what you want out of life and what's bringing you down. BetterHelp can be an awesome way to take the therapy plunge. Their industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they do a great job of pairing you with one of their 30,000 plus therapists that are best suited to your needs. And if the pairing isn't a match, you can switch therapists anytime. Sessions can take place online as well, so you can meet with your therapist when and how it works best for you. BetterHelp has served over 6 million people globally, and they're rocking a 4.9 out of 5 average rating when it comes to their live therapy sessions. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's talk some Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. It is time. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. And as you'd believe it, no shortage of comments when it comes to Metroid. And it's some very mixed opinions on this one. Some wordier comments than I normally read. But I respect the passion, and I'm already running behind at this point anyway, so fuck it. I can do whatever I want. I do what I want. So let's read some of your comments and see what you had to say. Justin Bailey says, can we talk about the Boost Guardian? That boss fight was ridiculous. I'm convinced Nintendo used its own customers as stress testers for their controllers. I have controller-shaped dents in my walls. I bet that's why they added wrist straps to the Wiimotes. I mean, that genuinely is why they put wrist straps on the Wiimotes, because people throwing that shit at your TV, and who didn't throw a Wiimote once in a while playing or playing Wii Sports Tetris or anything like that. But I do agree, dude. We're gonna talk about that in this review, I'm sure of it. The Boost Guardian, I died there so many fucking times. I was getting so angry, and then I was online, and I'm like, is it just me? And collectively, people were like, no, Boost Guardian, and there was the Spider something was the other one, but the Boost Guardian, that fight is horseshit. Fuck that fight. But you know what's funny is it killed me like 5 times, and then I just beat it in like 30 seconds. I just got lucky, I guess. I don't know. But fuck the Boost Guardian. I agree. Nick Finnegan said, I really hope Nintendo either remasters this or releases it on Nintendo Switch Online. I really want to replay it. I played it when it came out. I got maybe just over halfway through and got completely lost, so I need another crack at it. Dude, part of the reason this game hasn't gotten an episode of the show earlier was because I kept putting off buying it in the hopes that it would finally get added to Switch Online. So when it won the Patreon poll, I'm like, that's the excuse I need to buy a copy for my collection. So I bought the game. For the record, I played the GameCube one, not the Wii one. I played the GameCube one. And I fully expected a remaster or a Switch Online announcement in the days after I bought it, but not yet. But it's coming. I did buy a copy. So at some point, you guys are going to get it for free. I'm sure of it. Well, I guess the remaster probably won't be free, but is what it is. I Am Error says, I am one of possibly few that actually prefer Echoes over Metroid Prime. The concept of the Dark World was investing and always kept you on your toes. I understand why some can't stand it, but for me, the added challenge was what was missing from Prime. Also, the dark and light suits were baller. She does look cool in this game. Samus always looks rad, though. Like, I have yet to see an outfit for Samus that doesn't look dope. Every time I still think the best one is the end of Dread, but every time they tweak her costume, she looks pretty rad. I agree with that. The rest of it, I'll save for the review. I'll save it for the review. Fireborn says, damn, Metroid Prime 2, this game looked so good. Hard as hell, but very good. I beat it on GameCube and never went back to it. I beat it, that's all I need. Would I ever play it again? Probably not. Great game, though. I kind of feel like that, too. Like, I didn't finish it, as you're going to hear about. But I kind of feel that way, too. I'm like, I don't know. Like, Metroid Prime, I would replay. But this is one of those ones where I'm like, you know what? We had a great time. We had a great weekend together. I don't think I ever play you again. The only way I ever play Metroid Prime 2 again is if we get a remastered version. Then maybe. Otherwise, I don't think I do. Chris Jolly says, I'm looking forward to this episode. I recently played Prime for the first time and loved it. I immediately jumped into Prime 2, and it just didn't hook me as much. Going back and forth between the two worlds fried my brain. I love Metroid games, and I don't mind backtracking, but having to keep up with the main area and its dark twin was just too much for me. I haven't finished it yet. I may restart at some point when I've had enough time away from it. I'll save it for the show. But I agree with what you're saying, Chris. I'll talk about that when we get into the episode. One more comment. Scorch57 2004 says, I've been waiting for this episode for a long time. This is probably my second favorite game on the Cube after Fire Emblem. I always thought this was superior to the first one. I love the alternating of the light and dark worlds, the different suits, the different weapons, and I mean, come on, Dark Samus was so freaking badass. Unfortunately, after going back to this game 4 different times, I've never gotten around to finishing yet. It's a very long, challenging game, and I always get about 3/4 of the way through, and for one reason or another, I find myself moving on to a different game. I'm patiently awaiting a remaster like they did with Prime 1 with updated controls, because I think it would really improve this game a lot, not to mention the beautiful graphics it would shine on the Switch OLED. Regardless, this game still looks amazing on the Cube to this day. I also remember playing through this and thinking to myself, that feels like Nintendo's take on Halo, with having the like soldiers they sent ahead of Samus and she's there to rescue them. At least that's what it's always kind of felt like to me. That's how I felt with Prime 4. Prime 4 to me felt like Metroid Halo. Long comment, but I do agree with the majority of what you said. The remastered, like the controls, sure. Like I'll save it. You know what? Let's just get into it, then I'll tell you everything. Let's just do it. I've killed enough time. This is the longest intro we've done in quite a while. I can already feel the venom in the comments. Let's get into it. I'm gonna queue up some Metroid Prime 2 Echoes music. And when it stops, Stpd Mnky and I are talking Metroid Prime 2, which originally released in North America on the old GameCube on November 15th, 2004. Holy cow, that's old. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Here we go. All right, dude, I gotta say, I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. I was just gonna say, like, not a single person under the sun's gonna give a shit about this, which is why I almost didn't say it. But like, this is as close to just recording an entire episode in one fell swoop as I've had in forever. Because I literally just finished the intro, and now we're doing this, and I'm like, man, I'm a pro once. Except for the fact this episode goes live in 5 hours and it's not done because I'm a fucking slacker. But nobody cares about the behind the scenes of this show. Joining me via the blank phone. What's that?
I said we'll blame Millie.
Yeah, blame Millie. Yeah, fucking horrible CEO. Joining me via the blank phone this week to talk some Metroid Prime 2 is our resident Metroid guy and Discord power hungry mod, Stpd Mnky. Buddy, how's life? How's things? How are you?
Life's going pretty good minus the snow we just got today, or might have kicked in yesterday. I don't know. I haven't left my house in 3 days up till this morning.
Dude, it's crazy. It's like, because we both live in Alberta and, you know, here in Canada, like, you know, winter plays for keeps, but it feels like the entire continent has just been getting hammered with more winter than we have. Like, I keep seeing all these stories about like how like the East Coast is shutting down and all these things, and I'm just like, we're over here, like we've been melting for like a month. It's been weird.
Yep.
But now it's winter again, so back to the grind. Good time to sit inside and play video games.
Exactly.
Except maybe for Metroid Prime 2. I was just saying off stream. We're talking about, like, I guess I can't delay it anymore. Like, the show is here. Like, I still don't know how I feel about this game. Where are you? You're a bigger Metroid fan than I am. Do you like this game?
I do like this game. I liked it better before this replay because I played the better version of it originally.
Now what's because like it's on the Wii and the Trilogy Collection, or else it's on the Cube. I've only ever played Cube. What's the better version?
So the re-release on the Wii and the Trilogy version, they cleaned up some things and they removed some of the bullshit difficulty from spots that was added quite literally last minute. Like 3 days before going into production, they increased the difficulty at the main developer guy's request.
Okay.
And it added a lot of bullshit difficulty to those things because, you know, it was 3 days before production.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I thought you were going to say.
They've since said, yeah, that was our bad.
Yeah, like everything I've read online has, like, I mean, there is no consensus anymore at the internet, but the majority of folks seem to say the Wii version is a little bit nerfed. And then I guess one of the big differences, if I remember reading it correctly, was that in Morph Ball form, you can just jump. You don't need to do the bomb bounce, which when you're fighting that fucking Boost Guardian, we'll get to the Boost Guardian, but when you're fighting that guy, that sounds like a large.
It's an even bigger deal for another later boss that I don't think you got to.
No, and so I'll start there because I know people are like, I was teasing all during the infamous intro that like I didn't finish this game, and I didn't. And I'd like to just quickly let everybody know. So I got to the third temple where you have to go collect the three the three keys, whatever. And that was where I tapped out. So based on a walkthrough I looked up after I stopped playing, I think I was in the like 70-75% area of being done the game. And and just to let like, I don't dislike this game. I don't hate this game. Like, I love Metroid. I love Metroidvanias. Metroid Prime 1 is, for my money, a top 2. Depending on my mood, the best Metroid game. Depends on my mood. Like, I think it's spectacular. So, like, I was really excited for this. I love the concept of the dark world, the dark Samus. Like, I'm a big Venom fan. So, like, anytime there's, like, a Venom version of a character, I think it's fucking awesome. I'm not completely upset by the difficulty because it is substantially harder than the first game, like substantially.
Yes. For sure.
And I got a little frustrated with some of the bosses, but that wasn't what did it for me. I gotta say, dude, like the reason I rage quit this game, rage quit's not even the term. I just decided I don't want to play it anymore. Is quick disclaimer, I've had some personal stuff going on. I've had somebody in the hospital I was dealing with. So admittedly, while I was trying to play this, I was kind of distracted, which probably didn't help with the shortening of my fuse when a game would piss me off. But I just got so I don't think the portal system in the dark world and light world is implemented very well. It's a great concept. I love that idea. And in a way, it kind of like artificially doubles the map, kind of like Link to the Past did, which is my favorite Zelda game. But I got so fucking sick of like, find a portal, find out it's the wrong. I went to the either I went to the dark world or the light world at the wrong time, and I have to go back to the portal, go back to the other world, go to a different portal to go back to that world, or I'm in the wrong world and then I got to hike back, find the portal, flip over, go back. And when you combine it with that, I hate the fucking map system in these games. I fucking hate the Metroid Prime map. And when you combine the map with those fucking portals, with the fact that and I know it's going to sound like I hate this game. I really don't. I think it's a very good game that I just didn't enjoy playing that much. And it like the portals pissed me off. The difficulty at times got irritating. And like, I just found the game as a whole, like gorgeous from a graphic standpoint, but like I got sick of looking at it, if that makes sense. Like, I just was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about these people. I don't care about this lazy praying mantis god that needs me to fix his fucking problems. Dark Samus, just leave me the fuck alone. I'm done going through your portals. I'm sick of needing to switch from light ammo to dark ammo to normal ammo to dark ammo to stockpile light ammo that I'll need to fight the enemy that uses the dark ammo. I just got sick of it. It was just too many layers in the dip. And by the time I got to this third temple or whatever the fuck it is, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I know I'm rambling. I'm going to let you go off here, but I don't think this is a bad game. Quite frankly, I think it's a brilliantly made, incredibly polished. It's a Metroid game. Of course, it's going to be very well done. It's probably, I think when I'm done, I'm going to give it a score from like my own personal enjoyment of it. And I'm going to give it a subjective, like, do I think this was a good game score? And they're going to be two very different scores. Cause I don't think this is a poorly made game, but it's a game that I just got sick of fucking playing. That's what I've been building that up in me for like 4 days. That felt really good. I just got sick of fucking playing it. Was like, I don't want to play this anymore. I don't care. I don't need to see the end. I don't care. I don't care how it ends. I know she fucking survives because we get her in future games. I don't care about this civilization. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Okay. We'll break them all down later. That's where I am. Go ahead.
I think a lot of that is going to stem from the fact that you don't care that much about stories in these types of games. And this is probably one of the more story-driven Metroids prior to probably Fusion.
And agreed. And I will say that, like, I appreciate that they obviously went to great lengths to put a story in it. And at times I did. Like, I really enjoyed scanning, like, the corpses of, like, fallen, like, fighters and reading their stories of, like, what happened to them. And I did enjoy that stuff. At the end of the day, what it boils down to is I was like, I'm not invested enough in this story to fuck with this goddamn map anymore. The map is what killed it for me. So, for sure. All right, go ahead. Fucking map.
And before you get more angry emails, that was a moth, not a praying mantis.
Whatever the fuck.
The guys that love light, it's a moth.
I don't care. It's a
I know
stupid looking
I know
bug
you
god.
don't, but
It's a
I
stupid
know.
looking bug god that sits in his fucking. He's like, oh, I'm the last one, and our species is dying. Will you go out and fix this all for me? Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? Go do something. Fuck you. Anyway, what are you?
Yeah.
Where are you? Go ahead. I'm done. I really needed to rant about that fucking map a little bit. I hate it.
I do hate the map as well. I really like this one. I like the concept of the Dark World. I do agree that there's a lot of things that could have been done better about it. I like that. Not only does it has, you know, why she loses all her abilities at the beginning when she first gets into the Dark World, and then the Venom guys steal it all, and then as you're finding them, you're finding the different ones that possess a different piece of it, and they're using it.
Which I did like that. Yeah, the bosses
like
kind of use your abilities was pretty rad. Yeah.
Yeah. The suit designs for the two new suits, the dark suit and the light suit in this game, are fucking top tier.
Agreed.
You know, outside, like for non, like the gravity suit's always going to be my favorite, the purple one. But that's because I really like purple, and it's but for new suit and whatnot, and for a 3D world, it really likes it. Chronologically, this is the game that introduces the screw attack. I know it was in Super Metroid first, but this takes place before Super Metroid. There's great ideas. Like I said, this one has a bigger emphasis on the story and the fight between these guys. And if you're the type that likes to read all the stuff you scan, there's so many great things. Like the space pirates freaking out because Dark Samus shows up, and then they're like, oh, she's kind of on our side, and then kind of not, and that whole thing. One of my favorite parts near the beginning of the game is when you're in the morph ball and you're going under the floor, and you see all the pirates open up a portal and go through it. And then when you get around and you actually go through that portal, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They were all excited to go through it, you know, and I like that. There's story present in the world, especially like in the differences between some like stuff in the light world and the dark world. So this game does a lot of great things, and then it also does a lot of great things or great ideas that aren't the best implemented. The dark world and the difference between the you know, there's never a portal. It feels like there's never a portal, or too often the portal is either one way, or you go in this portal and realize that this part of the dark world doesn't actually get around to it. Stuff like that. The constantly hurting you in the other world. It's a great idea, and I like it. I like the concept because it's like, okay, like you got to be moving, you got to find these things. I like the fact that, you know, you do heal, but it's really slow. But the whole point of a Metroid game is the whole exploration bit, and it really hampers that. You get the light suit at the end, which makes you immune, but it's literally the last item you get.
Yeah. There's two things you brought up. One is I really liked there are parts of the story I really liked, and I really liked scanning and reading about them as well, especially near the beginning when I wasn't even remotely frustrated with it, and I was just really excited to play it. There was one in particular where you scan this one like computer or whatever. There's like one room you go into fairly early in the game where you can scan like 15 computers and read like a ton. And I was just going through there reading all of them, and there was one where they were just like, Samus is here, but she looks different or something. Like, and like you can tell that they're like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, she didn't really attack us. She just took some stuff and left or something like that. And I was like, that's fucking really cool. I was like, what a great concept that there's this like sinister dark side Samus coming in and fucking with these guys. And then like you said, they go through the portal, and when you get there, they've all been killed by Dark Samus, like, or whatever the fuck. Like, I really, that part I thought was very, very cool. And so, like, and I really want to make this clear. Like, I don't think this is a bad game. It's one that didn't work for me. I love the concept of the dark world, because I think the two main talking points when it comes to Metroid Prime 2 are the difficulty spike, which we'll get to, and then obviously the light and dark world. Yeah. And I really, even when I first went into the dark world, and like you said, when you first go in the dark world and you're losing your health so fast, and you constantly are just going from like one portal to the force field to like the next force field or whatever, where you slowly, and your health regenerates at about a quarter of the speed of you losing it, at least out of the gate. And I was getting really, really frustrated with the game early. I thought the Dark World was so rad. And then I was like, what a stupid fucking idea that I go into this Dark World and I can't even properly explore it because my whole focus is on making sure I stay in these stupid little force fields. And then I got the armor where it was like, it's going to reduce the damage you take in the Dark World. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. But then all it does is slows it down to like just about the same speed as you regenerate it, but it still doesn't get rid of it. And I just have to say, like, straight up, I know some will argue with me and they think that it's a good idea and it adds to the difficulty. I don't mind a hard game if it's a game I'm enjoying, but I just straight up have to say, I think taking your health away from being in the atmosphere of the Dark World, in my opinion, is a bad decision. I thought that mechanic really, really it really took away from my enjoyment of what should have been a great idea. It was so frustrating, man. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think if you had regained your health faster in the that, or if they had done something different, they did like kept it separate from your health, but like it had another meter build up, and you know, like the way you would do like an air meter in an underwater level or something. Just
100%.
I think it could have been done better.
Yeah, and I know that people will write in and they're like, "Dude, that's part of the difficulty. That's part." And that's I understand why somebody would like that, dude. Do you have any idea, for those of you listening, like how many times over the last 2 months I've thrown my Super Nintendo controller trying to play through this Mario World ROM hack that I've been fucking playing? I have zero issue with a tough game if it's a game I'm enjoying. And I don't, and sure, Boost Guardian in this game is fucking horseshit, and we'll get to that. But by and large, the difficulty was not a massive turnoff for me. Like, I didn't mind that I found the enemies tougher. A lot of the bosses were tougher that I didn't really get that upset by. But that taking your health away in the Dark World, I just was like, to me, it just became it almost, for lack of a better description, it almost played like a bit of a stealth game to me. I was like, I need to get from force field to force field. That's my focus. Yeah. It's not about fighting enemies or scanning or exploring. It's like, am I in a force field? Am I not being hurt right now? And I thought it was dumb. And I agree with you. If it had just given you some kind of, if I was making it, I would have had it taken away your health at the gate. And then very early on, you get some armor that protects against it. And then if it, maybe even if it just gives you like that, like you said, that underwater meter. And then when that runs out, then it starts taking away your health.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded that. But I just found that I was so excited by the concept of the Dark World and then going into it and just losing my fucking health, especially early on when you have very little health to spare and it disappears so fast. Dude, I was getting so fucking irritated with this game in the early going.
There's parts where I would go through like an entire energy cell, like just trying to get from the room I'm in to the next room.
Yeah. I hated it. I hated that fucking system. So I would have gotten rid of it.
Good idea, but I don't think it was implemented as well as it could have been.
No. And to counter that, because I don't want this whole episode to just be negative, I do want to say that, like, I genuinely do think the Dark World is a rad idea. And I also think that at least in theory, communism works. Shout out to that reference. Simpsons reference. I'm not a communist. Leave me alone. But in theory, yeah, exactly. Yeah. In theory, the light and dark world is fantastic. Like, I really love the idea. And I even like the idea of like how sometimes you can solve a puzzle in one world and then it impacts the other world. Like, when you go to
more of those, it has like a couple right at the beginning, and then there's not really one until near the end.
Agreed. Like, even the little things, like when you find, I don't remember what they're called, but those hubs where you go in a morph ball and then you get in it and then blow up the bomb, and and you can scan them, and it's like, basically your scanner is like, it's not fully here. Like, we can only kind of see it. And then when you go to the dark world or the other world, it's there in its full and then you use it, and then it changes that world for both the light and dark world. Like, I loved that concept on paper. Link to the Past, my favorite Zelda game. I love going between the light and dark world. I love going from the light area to the dark area, but in the same area, and seeing how it changes. I really like that concept. And I'm curious if you feel this way about it or not. Put aside the health draining. Other than that, my only beef with the dark world was I found the portal system more often than not to be a nuisance more than the concept great. I think the execution was frustrating at times.
nope. That pretty much sums up my big issue. Like I said, there's spots where the portals are only one way, and like you only go from the light to the dark or vice versa. And like the number of times that I would go there and then realize that I couldn't get to where I needed to go, and I couldn't
Yes.
even just go back. So now I had
Yes.
to go back around to find yet another portal.
That was where I quit. Was I ran into that for like the one too many times where I was just like, I hiked all the way to like a portal, went into the portal, came back to where I thought I had to go, found out that it wasn't, like I went the wrong way, then had to hike all the way back, then go find another portal, go activate it, go into that one, go all the way back again. And I just was like, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of patience. And admittedly, I was frustrated to begin with. And I was like, I don't care enough to see this through. The portal system, I don't, you know what the most frustrating thing is, dude, is I don't even know how I would fix that, because I guess the obvious and easy solution is to give you the like a mirror from Link to the Past where you could just warp anytime you want. But I think that's too hand-holdy for a Metroidvania.
Yeah,
So I don't even know how I would fix it, but I found it frustrating.
Yeah.
The concept was great.
Maybe more portals, maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree that it's definitely a hard thing to figure out what would fix that problem, but it definitely was a problem, and I can't fault them because like once you decide that this is the concept you're going with, you're kind of locked in on it.
100%. And I respect them doing it. I think it's very ambitious,
for sure.
I think it's very clever. But like because at the end of the day, like you and I both like enjoy Metroidvanias. I've said it. I can't remember what episode it was I said it on, but I said it on a recent episode that like the map of a Metroidvania almost becomes like a character in the game. Like you have to get in a really like you think of Hollow Knight, you think of Metroid Prime 1. You almost need to like know that map like the back of your hand by the end of it because you've explored it so much and it becomes such a big part of the game. And so I think it's very ambitious to be like, we're gonna take our map and make two versions of it that kind of like, you know, you've got the one paper and then you take the clear sheet with different stuff on it, put it on top, and it makes it into a different thing. Like, they're like, that's almost what they tried to do with this. And I really applaud it. And I understand why those that love this game love it, because I think it's a great concept. I just got so goddamn frustrated. I don't know if maybe, I mean, maybe a happy medium is when you get to a save point, you can switch or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do like that save points. I can't think of any spot where if it was in the light world, it was also in the dark world. So, because there were times where I'd be going through one or the other, and I'd be like, "Shit, I haven't saved in a while," and I'm like, "Okay, like, is there anything coming up?" And I could flip to the other map and be, "Okay, there's 2 rooms ahead. There's a save point. There's going to be a save point." Now there might be some bullshit between here and there, but at least it gave me an idea as to what to look.
Yeah, I agree. And this is what I was trying to say during the infamous intro. I was like, I think it's an incredibly well-made game that just irritated me. I like Metroid Prime 1, I think is basically 1A, 1B with Metroid Dread is my favorite Metroid game. Like, I think those are the top 2, in my opinion. And then for the record, Super Metroid number 3 for me. Like, those are my top 3. But I found the map of Metroid Prime 1 to be at times right on the cusp of like, come the fuck on. Like, where in the fuck am I going? And this one,
once you the problem of early 3D platformers.
Exactly.
And throw that in with the making it a first person view and not giving us good first person controls.
Yeah. And then
I forgave Metroid Prime for that. I have a lot more issue with that in this one because at this point, like dual stick was starting to become, and the GameCube has a second stick. The number of times that I went to go and look around and accidentally just change beams.
I agree. I'm making a note to come back to that because I want to touch on those as well.
Okay.
The fucking like it's a very ambitious map and I don't mind a challenging Metroidvania like Hollow Knight and Silksong. I think are both fantastic, and those are possibly the 2 hardest Metroidvanias I've ever played. And I have no I get part of a Metroidvania is beating your head against the wall and trying to figure where to go next. I don't want them. It's not that I would have preferred the game without the dark world. I guess maybe like it hurts my pride to say this, but like maybe I just wasn't good enough, but I just could not wrap my head around both maps Like, it's one thing to keep track of like where I am in this world. I'm like, okay, so I need to get back to this area now. That's how I'm doing it. I'm looking at I don't like the way the map looks or handles when you look at it, but that's whatever. I'm like, okay, I got to get from here to there, no problem. But then it's like halfway there, I find out that there's a dead end and I need to backtrack, find a portal, go back a different way to get back here to find another. And I just got so fucking, and I just, we'll move on. But I just like, I love the idea.
If the map that you look at was better, I would have enjoyed it better, because the number of times that I'm trying to figure out where I am on the map and where I need to, like the actual looking at the map in the menu, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than trying to use the rest of the menu with the friggin' rotate it around and
buddy. I gotta just as a whole, there's nothing good to be said about the menus in this game.
No.
How anybody thought it was a good idea to like, for more information, hit start. So you're like, oh, okay. So I hit start. And then it's like, go to Samus's equipment. So you rotate around this sphere thing, and then it like comes to one of those, and then it's like rotated the other way and click. And I just was like, what in the fuck kind of, this is the most ass backwards fucked up menu. Like, just, I get that you're trying to make it look nice, powers that be that made this, but like, just give us a bullet list menu. Like, the menu doesn't have to get fancy. Like, spend your fancy time on other things. Give me an easy to work menu. I hate the fucking menu in this game. And I don't particularly like the map, but I hate the fucking menu. So, okay, I'll tell you what. I still want to talk about the controls. We still got to talk about the bosses. We still got to talk about the dark world, the music, everything. We'll get the sponsors out of the way now. Then they won't yell at me. And then when we get back, we'll continue to unpack the light and dark puzzle that is Metroid Prime 2. Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Before Nintendo came out with Super Metroid, we wanted to make sure it was the most intense Metroid battle ever. So we thought we'd see how Killer here would fare against it. Ready, boy? That's 24 megs worth of weapons, worlds, and weirdos old Killer's up against. Nintendo's biggest game ever. But he's a big boy. He can handle it. Well, let's see how he did. Ship it! Super Metroid, only on the Super NES.
Okay, let's you mentioned the controls. When I talked to you at one point, at least, you were playing the Wii version, and then you were talking about restarting it on the Cube. Did you end up just playing the Wii one, or did you play it on Cube?
No, I played it on the Cube because I really wanted to have the original one, and because I've played it on the Wii, or like the original time I played it was the trilogy version.
Okay,
which I've had for years, and the controls are dated. I don't want to say they're bad. There's worse, but they're dated, and it's because the Prime series is not made as a first-person shooter. It's made as a platformer, action, whatever. It just happens to be in first-person view, and the controls are frustrating for it.
Yeah, this was a tricky one for me because I try my absolute best to like, when it's a relic of its time and generation, I try not to be too hard on it because I know that's
why I'm willing to give the first one a pass, because that was that. But this one, there were people and places, there were probably ones on the GameCube that were doing it. So I'm like, we could have learned.
I agree with that, and like I have to give it a little bit more of a gentle landing on this because I literally finished Metroid Prime 4 and then jumped into this one. And for anyone that's like, that's a backwards way to play them, you stupid fuck, I agree. But I really wanted to finish Metroid Prime 4 before I did the Blankies in January because I wanted to see if it was a Game of the Year contender for me because I was so excited for it. So it was even a little bit more challenging to go from a modernized control scheme in Metroid Prime 4 back to a more archaic control scheme in Metroid Prime 2. Once I got my head around it, I didn't find the controls to be too bad, with the exception, and this is a problem in every Metroid Prime game that I've ever played. And the same applies to Doom and any other first-person shooter that wants to mix in platforming. Platforming in first person is just a pain in the ass. Like, it can work, but it's just, and it's not enough to like, I'm not going to ding the game for it because if you made a Metroid, because like I think Metroid Prime 1, I think all three of the Metroid Primes that I've played are at minimum very well made video games. But
Yeah,
like, can
I'd
you
agree with that.
imagine playing Metroid without platforming? Like, it wouldn't work. Like, you have to have platforming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And
you can't
it's
just have a flat screen.
yeah.
But dude, particularly in the dark world, the number of times that I would fuck up a jump, like, especially when you're in like a heated battle with enemies and you're trying to rush to the next force field to keep yourself safe, and then you miss a jump, and then maybe you fall into like the fucking acidic slime shit on the bottom. So now I'm losing health from that and from the air, and the enemies are just pounding me in the back door, and I try to jump and it's not working. Again, so that was, I didn't mind the lack of a dual stick. Like my brain adapted to that fairly quickly as far as like the control scheme, but the platforming I found frustrating.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then dude, and this is kind of a segue into it. Some of the bosses were made so much harder by the controls because it was so hard to dodge some of the attacks they would do.
Yeah.
With this fucking control scheme. And of course, Boost Guardian is the one that comes to mind for me. And someone wrote in about Boost Guardian in the comments.
I believe it. Specifically, that was one of the ones that was mentioned that they increased the difficulty on.
That fight.
And the Spider Ball.
Yeah. So
Or
I
two.
quit before the Spider Ball. And I do want to hear your experiences with that boss. I will say, for those that haven't played it, the Boost Guardian, going back to Monkey's point in the first half of the episode, it's a fucking awesome idea. It's a little
sure.
Mega Man-y, and I like my Mega Man. It's a little Mega Man-y that the bosses have your weapons, and if you could beat them, you get your abilities back. Love that. Love that fucking idea. But
this one in particular doesn't do enough to tell you. Like, Metroid is all about, like, they're the Prime ones anyways, are scanning them, and it tells you what the weaknesses is. Sometimes it even adjusts like what you're locking onto, and the Boost Guardian doesn't. It just says, oh, you got to figure out some way to get it out of being a puddle.
Oh, the Boost, if you've not played it, the Boost Guardian is cool looking boss, and I love that you're in this like tight little area because it adds to the tension. But the Boost Guardian, like when it's in its like bug form or whatever the fuck you want to call it, then you're shooting it and you're shooting it and you're hurting it and you're dodging it, and it's like that's what you do when you fight a boss. But then it can go into your morph ball thing and start boosting around. So then you're just kind of like, when I fight, it's funny, it must have killed me half a dozen times, and then I had a run where I beat it in probably less than a minute. I just got lucky and I destroyed it. When it goes into its boost ball, then you're kind of just trying to dodge the ball and stay out of the way. And if you can hit it with one of your morph ball bombs, you'll get it out of its form, but it's very hard because it's boosting around. And then it's also summoning these fucking creatures, which is your way to replenish your health and ammo during the fight. So it's Metroid. It's
because this one doesn't have. This is one of the two fights that doesn't have any force shields.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like you're taking damage while you're fighting it, while it's hurting you. So it's constantly spawning enemies for you to kill to get health back. Plus sometimes it's destroying these pillars and you're getting health drops from that. But then when it goes out of boost ball form, then it just turns into this fucking sludge. And then you need to hit it with enough morph ball bombs to get it to go back into human or bug form. But like the transition from the boost ball into the sludge, into the boost ball, into the bug is so quick, and it's hard to follow and it's hard to keep track of. And then every time you go into morph ball, it takes a second for the camera to pull out and go from first person into the third person with the morph ball. And in the time it does that, sometimes you're trapped in this fucking sludge and it's just wrecking your health down. And it's such a, that fucking fight made me so, I text you, I think, and I was like, dude, I might rage quit at this fucking ball. I was so mad. And then I just had a run where, like, I don't know, I just got lucky with my morph ball drops that I killed it in like a minute and it was over. And I was like, oh, thank fuck.
Well,
that fight was fucking
hit
vicious.
you when it's boosting, or because when it hits you, it like just totals a huge chunk of your health. Especially at that
it'll
point
take
of the
away like
game.
a full E tank. Yeah.
So yeah, as long as you don't get hit by the actual boosting, you can usually do okay. But as soon as you get hit once, or if you get stuck on the sludge, because it slows you down, so you can't even get out of it very fast.
Yeah. And then, like you said, it's the fact that the environment is also hurting you, and just, it's a very, like, I looked it up online and I was like, because I finally was getting so mad at it. I'm like, is it just, I don't, do you do that? Like, if you're really dying or you're really stuck in a game, you're not even looking up how to beat it. But like, I will look up, like, am I the only one that thinks this is very hard? And I almost feel better when I see that, like, oh no, this is like legendary. Everybody hates this fucking boss. That makes me feel better.
Every time I've done that, one of the first search results is always is this boss impossible, or am I just dumb, or something along those lines. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, good, it's not just me.
It's not just me. Yeah, I agree. So that one gave me a lot of trouble. The only other boss, because I didn't get to the spider one, and I do want to know about the spider one, because that was one of the comments I saw. People were like, "You think Boost Guardian's bad? Wait till you get to the fucking spider thingy." The other boss that just gave me a touch of trouble was the underwater fish thing right after you get the underwater jetpack,
Oh
and
yeah,
it killed me a couple of times because I couldn't figure out how to dodge it. But then once I got the pattern of its attack down, I beat it without even getting touched. So that one wasn't too bad.
yeah.
What's
That
the
was another one, and yeah,
what's
that
up with
way
this
was a pain in
spider
the
thing?
so the spider ball you get, you're the whole, it's another boss where you're fighting the whole entire thing in morph ball form, and it's got 4 sections, and basically what you have to do is you have to when you're doing the morph ball section in some of those areas, and those little pill bugs that are like going around a brick or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's one of those, but with the morph ball, so he's following the morph ball tracks that you've seen all throughout the game, or the spider
yeah, yeah,
ball.
yeah.
So what you've got to do is you've got to hit him with a couple bombs, and then he'll start glowing green, and then you've got to manage to get to like one of the bomb slots, and it rotates a panel out of the way, and then he goes into like a little electrified field, and you got to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times in total. Once in each of the first 3 sections, and then 3 times in the last one.
Okay.
The first section isn't hard, aside from the fact that trying to get the timing to do the bomb jumps, like to go up a level or anything, is frustrating. And then I can't remember if there's one in the first one, but in the second one, a lot of times the platform you need to be on is super narrow. And the one thing I'll say about the GameCube controllers is they're responsive. So if you're not perfectly lined up, you're just sliding down the hill again. So even if you missed your bomb. So you've got but you got to do that, and then it gets trickier and trickier. There's one spot where it's got like the boost ramps, the half pipe.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got to go up and then drop the bombs to hit the bug without getting hit yourself. And if you don't hit it enough times, then it gets super fast, like the yellow car in the one racing game.
RC Pro Am. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So then you've got to do it. You've got to try to hit it again to get it into the stunned. It's a huge thing, and one of the biggest things is trying to do the bomb jumps and having your timing out, and having the spring ball in the other additions. And I think he had, I don't know if he had less health, but he also again hits you for a shit ton every time he hits you.
Right. Well, and that goes back to like one of the things people say is that like hurts my soul to compliment the Wii, but people do say that the Wii version is just on the sense of like, I guess by chance, if you're listening to this, you've never played a Metroid game. When you're in, like, Samus she looks like a giant robotic Mega Man with a cannon arm. She's awesome, but she can turn into just a giant metal ball that you can use to like go through narrow passages, and sometimes there's puzzles and stuff. But the only way to jump when you're in ball form, for the most part, is you drop these little bombs, and then you have to sit there for about a second till the bomb goes off, and then it'll kind of bounce you, a little bit of the ways up the screen, and that's how you jump. And that's like the number one thing people say about the Wii version, other than maybe the aiming is easier, is just that they say that when you're a morph ball, you can flick the Wiimote and jump. And that would be such a game changer, man.
Yeah.
I actually think that, like, particularly in the one of my favorite little guilty pleasures of the Metroid Prime series is just every time you go into morph ball, like when you need to go through like a narrow passageway, I just love the animation of Samus like pulling into this tight ball, and the way the camera kind of comes out from first to third, but it's so seamless, and it looks awesome when you're going down a narrow tunnel.
One of my other Easter eggs is actually the reverse. When you go from morph ball to back up, because it takes a few seconds before you can shoot.
Yeah.
As your HUD comes up, you see the like the energy bar at the top filling back up to wherever you were at health wise.
Yeah.
And so it really has that feel of this is your suit reconfiguring its energy to go from the morph ball to that. Like it's a nice little touch.
Yeah, the transitions in and out are awesome. And I love playing as the morph ball going down a narrow passageway. And I really enjoy the segments. And this game had a couple. I was disappointed it didn't have more. But I like the segments where the camera goes to like the side view. Like if you're looking at like an ant nest, like through one of those glass walls, and you
those
steer
are always
your
my
morph ball.
favorite morph ball sections.
Yeah, like I love solving the puzzles and stuff in there. But I will say, and this applies to all the Metroid Prime games that I've played now, all three of them, when you're in the morph ball and it's not either a behind you in a narrow area or either a top down or side view, like when you're trying to, like, again, when you're fighting like the Boost Guardian and you're trying to just navigate the morph ball on like on a platform from a faraway camera, I do find it to be kind of a pain in the ass to control. Like it's a cool concept, but I find it very frustrating to use at times.
Yeah. One of the worst ones in this one, there's one spot in the first temple, whatnot, where you've got to do like, use the bumps to get up there. But there's that plant that'll stick its tongue out at you to try and catch you.
I hate those fucking plants.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's the word, because of that, because you not only do you have to be moving, you have to constantly be pushing towards the wall, because if you come forward, you fall off the thing and you've got to start it all over again.
Yeah. Those. I hate those fucking plants.
9 times out of 10, though, the morph ball sections are good.
I wouldn't get rid of them. I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
It's just that like I don't know. I mean, it's not even like I was like, I guess I prefer them in 2D, but the simple fact is I prefer practically every aspect of every game in 2D over 3D. So like that's a stupid. Like that's just the way I am. I just like 2D better. I will say that while I found a couple of the bosses, particularly Boost Guardian, challenging, I hate boss fights for the most part, just in all video games. I did think the bosses were pretty well designed.
I really
They felt
every
epic.
boss is a great concept, and it's something cool. Because you got the Boost Guardian, the giant worms that where you get the dark suit.
Yeah. I liked those. I liked that fight a lot. Those giant worms.
Hidden pleasure. I've always liked every Metroid game where you have to get swallowed in morph ball form and plant a bomb in them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I've always thought that was just a neat concept. But I really like that one.
One boss that missed the mark for me was the giant moth thing, and it wasn't even that.
I hate that one,
dude. I didn't die on that fight once, but I just found it so tedious. Like, especially once it got to its later forms. Like, I love the concept of it. You're fighting it on if you've not played it, you're on these 4 little platforms. You're in the dark world, so you take damage from the environment, but there's like 4 platforms that all have force fields in them, so you're pretty much always in a force field as long as you're on a platform, and then you're using your grappling hook to go from one into another, and this giant moth, dragonfly, whatever the fuck it is looking thing, flies in front of you, and you can basically just tee off on it, and then once you stun it, then you go around behind it, lock onto its wings, shoot it, and then after a while it like becomes pregnant, and it's got like its fucking giant baby belly hanging down below it. And then I found that it kept staying so far away from me that I was like, instead of chasing you, because I don't want to die and have to do all this again, because boss fights in these games are long. Some of them are fucking long. And I was like, I don't want to have to do all this again. I just kept my distance locked on and just kept shooting and just very slowly trickling it away. And I was shocked that it never did anything to really counter it, because most Metroid bosses won't let you just cheese them like that.
No, that's one of the but it's
like cool design, but a boring.
It would never. It never seemed to stay stunned long enough for me to get behind it. And then with the crappy looking around controls to aim the secret missile to get all 4 wings at the same time.
No, I never did all 4. I just did one super missile at a time. Like I never did all of them. I could never get all of them at once. Yeah. So like I beat them just very slowly.
Just to use the multi-missile thing and get all 4 of them at once.
Yeah. I just very slowly chipped away at it.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly hard boss, but it was not, especially compared to how well so many of the other ones were designed.
Yeah. I never got to the end. Is the final boss a bunch of bullshit, or is it not bad?
Yes and no. It's got some bullshit elements to it, but it's not super bullshitty. Like it's kind of like the final boss in the first Metroid Prime. It's a giant bug-like thing, and you've got to hit it the right things and avoid these. And You know, it does a
Right.
lot of damage, but
Spe-
it's not the
um,
best boss in the game, but it's definitely interesting.
is it better than the fucking final boss in Metroid Prime 4? That piece of shit.
Oh,
I hated
yes,
that
well,
boss. I hated that fucking boss. Oh my
yeah,
god.
fuck
Um,
you, Silas.
One thing I just thought of, because you mentioned Metroid Prime 1, and I haven't played Metroid Prime 1 in a few years now, so I maybe feel free to yell at me, listeners, if I'm getting this wrong. But I remember in Prime 1, you had to like collect like 11 artifacts or something. You had to like collect all the artifacts in that one.
Yeah, this one has that too. Like, yeah, each world you have to collect, or like the 3 temples, you collect the 3 keys, and then you have to find another 9 keys to get into the final temple.
Okay.
Um,
Can you do the 9 in like any order you? Because that was one thing I liked
yeah,
about Metroid Prime, was that like if you can, like, I found 2 or 3 of the artifacts in Metroid Prime almost by accident. Like I just
yeah,
happened
same
to come
here.
across them, and I was like, oh shit. And then this
Yeah,
one, when you just have to find the 3 dark keys in each dark world, it felt more not linear, but more like enclosed. Like
yeah.
it was
Well,
like going to
I
this
like
area, find
I
3
like
keys.
seeing one and then being like, is that something I can get to now? Like, do I waste time trying to figure that out, or do I need something? And
Yeah.
like, I like the
Yeah.
puzzle aspect of them. The the artifact hunt at the end where you have to find them. Basically, what it is some of those bodies that you scanned throughout the game in the light world, you know, would usually have a final testament or something. In the dark world version of, so it's, if it's not in that room, it'll be in one nearby. But there's an invisible thing. You've got to use the dark visor to see it, and shoot it to get it to come into light, and then to get the key that way. There's a couple of them you can even get before you like you start that quest.
Okay.
But again, you can do them in any order. Some of them you just need certain items to get to.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay. Okay.
both the artifacts in Prime 1 and the Sky Temple keys in this one were forced on them. None of the producers wanted to do the fetch quest.
Oh, see, I liked them in the first one. I didn't hate them in this one, but I preferred like to me,
My
Metroid Prime 1 felt like this big world where you had to find these things that were scattered throughout the world. And in Metroid Prime 2, it felt more like go to this segment of this world, flip between the 2 dimensions, find 3 keys, come back, rinse and repeat in another area.
Yeah, and
And I like the first
my
design better.
issue with this one is you're finding the 9 keys after you've already had to find 3 keys in each of the, like, and they're spread out through all 3 temples plus the new one that you'll be able to access at this point in the dark
Oh,
world.
okay. Okay.
But you know, so in total you're looking for 18 keys, and that's about 9 too many. So for me, I think
Yeah.
it would have been better if you either, you know, rather than having to find the keys there, it was just a, you know, kill the boss and then you throw in the key hunt at the end. But it's just too much fetch quests, and fetch quests are never my favorite. Better than escort quests where the escort walks you slow. But like I don't know. It was definitely one thing. I didn't this playthrough, at least not yet. I haven't found all 9 of them. I think I've got 4 right now.
Okay.
And then I watched a video for the last boss just to refresh myself, because it's
Oh,
been,
yeah. Okay.
you know, this game came out 22 years ago, and I think I played it in 2010,
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
29.
I and again, like I gotta stress, like I don't hate this game, but I was
No.
getting irritated as it is. If I had got to the point where it was like, all right, you found the 3 keys, then you found the 3 keys, then you found the 3 keys, and you jump started all the motors and brought all the gasoline energy back. Now go find 9 more keys. I would have been like, you can find my asshole. Like I'm fucking done with that. I'm not going looking for 9 more fucking keys.
Well,
That's
when
it.
you first messaged me saying that you bounced out because you were the portal thing, that's what I thought you were at.
Oh,
And then
no,
when you said you
no.
didn't even find the 3, because you missed some of the really cool items that were introduced in this game.
Like what?
Like I said, you get the screw attack, you get the annihilator, which has both light and dark ammo.
Oh, that would have been. Can I, if I could, I listen. I don't mind that it makes you switch your gun. Like you got your basic blaster, and then you can either like push the C stick right and get dark ammo, push the C stick left and get light ammo. I didn't mind that, and I didn't mind enemies that were weak to light ammo and weak to dark ammo, and all that shit is fine. I'm used to shooters. I get that worked, and that didn't bother me. But the idea that one had both would have been a fucking godsend. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
did find it. I don't mind that you have to use light and dark. I did find it a little bit irritating that I needed to keep up my ammo on both.
That was one of the big complaints back in the day about it too, and that's why I was curious how people would complain if people were going to complain about that for Prime 4. Prime 4 has a
Yeah.
lot of DNA from this game, I noticed.
Yeah, now that I've
You've
played
got
both, because like Prime's got the fire gun, the ice gun, the electric gun.
Yeah. Well,
And
those were kind of standard, and they pretty much brought those back for Prime 4. But like, it's got here's 3 temples that are, you've got to do everything in that one temple and then
yeah.
come back. That's what this game needed. It was Mac just calling you every 30 seconds saying, "Hey Samus, you should go here.
Oh,
Hey
buddy,
Samus,
it's so
have
like
you considered going to the Dark World?"
yeah, I don't want to spoil Metroid Prime 4, but if you've not played it yet, there's like a human in there that and I if you listen to my review, like I actually like Prime 4.
I'd say
But there's this human that just, we've all played games where like, God of War and you're trying to solve a puzzle and within 3 seconds Atreus is like, hey, you should do this, and you want to just be like, shut the fuck up, let me solve it, like or Sully in Uncharted, or insert whatever enemy or whatever sidekick you want here that tells you how to solve puzzles before you have a chance. This is the one where like I would have given my left nut to have Mac in my fucking head being like, dude, you should probably try this portal. I would have been like, thank you, brother, because I found this one I got so lost sometimes that I would have killed for that fucking guy. Oh man, that's so funny that like it was the polar opposite where I was like, instead of telling him to shut up, I was like, where the fuck's Mac when you need him? That's a great pull.
Like, and I do like if you go enough time without figuring out where you need to go, like it'll pop up, but all it does is just tell you what room you need to go to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I like
if it pops up a room that you haven't currently been or have any idea how to get to sometimes, then it's like, okay, it's cool. I need to go in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
How?
On the note of the light and dark guns, like I really didn't mind that it wanted you to use light and dark guns. Like that didn't bother me. I just wish that it had, like, I wish there hadn't been finite ammo. That's all it is. Like if you would have just made me switch, it wouldn't have been no problem. But like they were like, if you want to replenish your light ammo, use the dark gun. If you want to replenish the dark ammo, use the light gun. Which on paper is like, okay, that sounds simple enough. But especially when you're in the dark world and there's like 300 things hurting you all at once, and you're like, fuck, I need more ammo, and you're trying to remember which gun to use to get more ammo, and like it would have. And I very unless I was desperate, very few drops of like light and dark ammo as opposed to like health and missiles. Like I didn't find nearly as much.
Yeah, well, it's because they don't pop out unless you're using. I didn't realize until about halfway through this playthrough, if not more, that also like killing something with the light or the dark to get the other ammo included crates and things. So I would just
I never knew that either.
Yeah, I would just find a room that had a bunch of crates and whatever version of it. In the one, it's the little pea in a pod looking things.
Yeah.
That I would just go find a room that had a bunch of those and like shoot everything with the light ammo to refill my dark, and then go through, shoot it,
Oh, dude, that I feel like an ass because I never thought of that either. That would have made things so much. I did use those, like everybody, like it's frankly, I think that's one of the best designed aspects of all Metroid games is the constant drops of health and weapons, because they're like, these games are tough, man. You're gonna need more fucking health and weapons. But I never even thought of that.
I like how seamlessly they fit in the world. Like if it's a mechanical room or something, like they look like equipment crates. They're the boxes outside of like where the Federation ship was and all their corpses.
Yeah,
like they were very obviously that. And if you scan them, and it'll even say like, this is a Federation thing, or these are space pirates that are designed to be impenetrable, and then you just blow it up.
Yeah, man, I never even thought of that. God damn it. I do want to throw some praise on this before we head toward the score and wrap it up. I want to just say, I mean, I expected it to be as much based on the pedigree of Metroid, but game looks spectacular. I found it a little bit dry in the dark world, a little bit dry. And at times, dude, I don't know if it's because I'm playing it because I played this on my GameCube on a CRT TV for the most part. And I don't know if it was just a me problem. Occasionally I ran into times where I was like, all these fucking power-ups on your armor, you couldn't put a flashlight somewhere? Like there's the occasional time where I just couldn't see what the fuck I was doing.
The dark visor is nice for that, because like it turns everything black and white, but it really highlights things. So especially like some of those dark, I had the brightness cranked, and even then there's some hallways that you just can't see shit.
Yeah, I like, really did like
I'm just
dark
constantly shooting because at least the flash of that lights up a wall or something.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I do like that dark visor as well. It was like everything went black and white and then things would glow red. That was so handy. So handy.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to tell you, I spent an embarrassing amount of time killing those fucking enemies that go invisible now that I can see them all the time with the fucking, I was just like,
fucking
oh,
payback.
I was like, how the turntables have turned to my friends.
Prior to that, or especially, or the guy, the bugs that can turn into puddles and things because you can't stay locked onto them.
Yeah,
you can hurt them, but you have to manually aim at them. But at the dark visor, you can stay locked on.
Yeah.
No, there was definitely payback. But anytime I wasn't locked in a room with the disappearing space pirates, I would just be like, "Yep, fuck you guys. I'm just going to the next door I need and getting out of here."
Me too. I was like, I'm not even wasting my time. You guys are cheap.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. That aside, though, like, so there was times where I wish I had a flashlight because I did find it a little bit hard to see. But other than that, as I expected, like it's almost not fair to the game to be like, yeah, you better fucking look great. But as I put it into my GameCube to play it for the first time, I was like, this had better be a good looking game, and it was. You know, and
it does. And it really nails that alien vibe to things. Like stuff in the Dark World has that slimy, insectile, like just evil goo feel about everything. Stuff in the other world has real natural. The third temple with the it's real mechanical and things, and it has glowing lines and everything. Like everything has that real polish to the environments that Metroid games are really known for.
Yeah, like this game,
even the suit designs. The dark suit has that kind of brownish black, like insecty look to it.
Yeah, like a toxic look to it. Yeah. Even like, because I went from Prime 4 to this one, and I played Prime 4 on my Switch too, and then I go back to this on my GameCube on a CRT. So that's what, GameCube to the Wii, to the Wii U, to the Switch 2. So that's like 4 generations of consoles later. And of course, Metroid Prime 4 looks better than Prime 2, as it should. It's 20 some years later, but it wasn't that much better. Like, this is a good looking game. And some of the little things, like you mentioned, in a room where it's really hard to see, keep blasting your blaster. And maybe we shouldn't be giving it as many flowers as we are for this, but it's pretty impressive the way the energy blast comes, like lights up the room for like that split second. And then I've always been a huge fan of when you let off like a big shot or something and you just see the reflection of Samus's eyes for like a split second in the visor.
That one, or when you come out of water and you can see the water draining down off the screen.
Yeah. I thought that was
it's the little touches like that I've absolutely loved about these.
Me too. Yeah, games. Great looking. The only criticism I think I have of the graphics, and I mentioned this earlier, was like, and maybe it's a stupid criticism because like it literally is the Dark World, but I did find I get that the Dark World's got to look dreary and everything, but it was maybe just at times a little bit too dreary for my taste. Like at times.
Yeah, it's definitely going through its emo phase.
Yeah, that's it. It felt like emo Samus, and it's supposed to look like that. It's not a criticism. I won't take away any points. But if I was the art director for the game, I think I would have been like, we can do something to brighten this up a touch. But that's me. I know that's not it's a Dark World. It should look like that. Also, before we score this thing, it has to be mentioned, as every Metroid game ever made does, the soundtrack is a 10.
Have fun picking the 3 songs you get to play with this.
I got them this morning and it was not easy. The only thing I will say about the music, and it's not the game's fault at all, there was so many instances where I was fucking lost and I'm trying to figure out where to fucking go, and I'm getting mad at the map and mad at the portals, and I'm like, where in the fuck? And then it's just bum 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 bum. And I started to relate that song with like looking at a map, not being able to figure out where the fuck to go. And I was just like, it almost got to the point where I was like muting my television for a second when I was looking at the map, because I was like, I like the music, but just would you shut up and let me think for 3 fucking seconds, please? Yeah. But the music is so atmospheric.
Walking in a room and the music changing to battle music, and especially if you couldn't see the enemies right away.
Yeah, 100%. No, the music is so well done, very atmospheric, so well done. I guess that's really like, I like everything about the game except playing it. if that makes sense. And I love and like, and then if I was to do, because I will probably do a Metroid ranking episode someday, like I don't think this is like I still think, I guess spoiler, but I still think Metroid 2 is my least favorite Metroid that I've played. The Game Boy one. I don't like that game very much. I like the concept, but I don't like that game very much. This is not the worst Metroid I've ever played by the long shot. It's not the worst GameCube game that I've ever played. I get those that, because it seems to be a very divisive topic online. What's the best Metroid Prime? Is it 1 or is it 2? You don't see anyone saying 3 or 4. No. It's 1 or 2. And I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it just comes down to personal preference. I if I'm being honest with you, dude, like I actually like the concept of Metroid Prime 2 more than I like Metroid Prime 1, but I enjoyed playing Prime 1 more than I enjoyed playing Prime 2.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I like Prime 2 more. Prime 2 was my favorite of the Prime games up until this last replay, and I think it's because I played the better version.
Sure.
And I'm not gonna tell you just go and spend your limited time replaying it, or but I think that made a huge difference. But I definitely was soured on a few of the bullshitty things this time around.
Yeah, it's and again, guys, like I really don't mean to like unpack my personal life. It doesn't matter. I'm not like, oh, I was in a bad mood, so this game sucks. I don't think this game sucks, but admittedly, like this is not a game that you can play for like an hour and then put down for 4 days and then come back and remember where you were. Like this is one where you're like, once you commit to this is a relationship. Like this was going to take some time, because otherwise you forget where you have to go. And those hints eventually pop up, but they take too long. And anyway, I was going through some things where I was getting pulled out of the house and then I get home and get to play it again. And I was getting irritated with the map. But that said, like I don't have a lot of interest in going back to it. Like I would play Metroid Prime 1 again. I don't know if I'll play Metroid Prime 2 again anytime soon, but I'm glad I've experienced it. I think it's ambitious as fuck. I love the idea of Dark Samus and Dark World and everything like that. I just, when it came to actually like executing it, I just wasn't, I got too frustrated with it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't even know how I would fix that. And maybe, so like, if that's the case, then I'm like, maybe it doesn't need to be fixed. Maybe it's just not for me, cause like, I don't know how you can't make it easy. Like you can't make it where you can swap between worlds anytime you want. That literally kills the whole reasoning behind that. But the fucking portals made me so goddamn angry sometimes. Oh my fucking God. Anyway, is there anything else we missed that you want to touch on, or are you good? Are we scoring this thing?
No, I think that's everything. We covered everything. I love the atmosphere. I love the number of, this was a great idea that just didn't quite pan out, I think, as well as they were hoping. So
yeah. Did you have you ever played the multiplayer?
No.
I mean, it shouldn't surprise anyone. I have no friends. I didn't play the multiplayer.
Oh, yeah, no, that does. And it was one of the things I was hoping to hear your opinion. I'm kind of sad you missed. There's one enemy in that third temple. It's a little robot, but one of the attacks it does, it hacks you, and it pops up with the whole press LR and B to reboot your system. But it has, it's like your view is all scrambled and everything, and it has the power suit online, targeting online, beam launcher. It's a nice side. It's an annoying enemy.
Oh, that's rad. No, I never came across that one. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad not finishing it, but I've kind of gotten to the point where I've just like, I got to get through so many games, and I'm like, is there anything like that I haven't seen that is going to ruin my ability to review this? And I was like, I don't think so. And I was honestly worried. I was like, the more I play it and the angrier I get and frustrated I get with the maps, if anything, it's just going to make me sour, and I don't want to sour on this game, because it's objectively an incredibly well-made, well-polished video game.
Yes.
Like it's not like a game where you play it and you're like, dude, the frame rate was shit. It's broken here. It's clearly this is not a half-assed video game. It just comes down to preference and personal taste, and I little too spicy for my tastes, but I don't have a beef with it. I think it's very well done. So, you said you had a scoring system in mind?
I did. There's a total of 19 keys in total. Because there's the 9 for the three temples. There's 9 that you find, And actually, if you get to the gate, there's 1 key that was already put in place. So there was 10 for that last temple. You just only have to find 9.
All right. So we're going out at 19?
Out of 19 keys.
I like it. All right. How many keys?
I'm going to give this one, same as you, like I think a halfway point is where it starts to be completely broken, and this game definitely isn't that. So I think I'm going to go, maybe 15. Like there's so many things that could have been better. I like the ambitious ideas that just didn't pan out. But so I'm going to go with 15 keys out of 19.
All right. Like I feel like it's like a bitch thing to do, but like I really feel like the only way I can fairly do this is to give it like objectively, I give it like a 17.5 out of 19. Like it's like a 9 out of, like it's an incredibly well made, well polished, worth your money video game. Personally, I'm going to give it like a 14. Like I didn't love playing it. I love Metroidvanias. I got so fucking sick of that map. That's really what it boiled down to, was I got so fucking sick of going between the light world and the dark world. I love the concept. I thought the execution was a little too heavy for me. Yeah. But if you, like, I'm telling you right now, like, unfortunately, your only ways to play it right now outside of emulation are to buy an old copy on one of 2 systems or whatever the fuck. And if you like Metroid and you've played Metroid Prime 1 remastered and you're like, fuck, I got to see what more is, like, it's absolutely worth playing. I don't know if I can sit here and say go buy a GameCube and like a $70 copy of this. But you know what? Because I did, I can almost guarantee you in the next 5 or 6 months, it'll either be on Switch Online or a remastered version, because Nintendo, I don't know if you guys know this, but Nintendo, they would like to sell you their old game again. If you buy it, they'll do it. So at some point it will be available on Switch too. I have zero doubt in my mind. And
considering how much better the remastered version of Prime 1 is, I would love to see what they did with the remastered version of this.
Yeah, me as well. You know what? I'll be honest. Like, if they remaster this one, for Switch 2, because I haven't played the remaster of Prime 1 just because I just haven't had time to sneak it in, but I would like to eventually. I'll say it right now. Yeah, if they remaster this, I will probably pick it up and give it another chance, because I really do like what they're trying to do. I don't know. Maybe it makes me sound like a bitch, but like maybe they'll make it just a touch easier for me, and then I won't have to be so bad at games. I don't know, but
I mean, they'll probably use the easier versions as the base, seeing as
you would imagine
they were the original intent, anyways.
Yeah, you would imagine. So
yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, that was good. We did it. We made it. I finally played Metroid Prime 2. All that's left, I assume you've played Prime 3.
I have.
Am I missing out on anything? Because that's on the Wii, right?
It is on the Wii. It's be a hard one to adapt without, because there's uses the nunchuck, and you actually have to like move the nunchuck to open doors and things. So that one would be a lot more rejiggering to get one. It's by far my least favorite of the Metroid Prime game. That's probably one of my least favorite of the Metroid games, period.
All right. I mean, at some point, I do have a Wii. At some point, I probably will give it a chance, but I'm not I'm between Prime 4 and now this one. Like, I'm Metroided out. I love you, Samus, but like, you've earned a vacation, girl. I'll come back to you at some point. So, where can people watch you play video games?
Well, I mean, that narrows it down. I do stream. It's usually at least once a week, usually 2, sometimes 3. Typically Wednesdays, Thursdays, and after that, it's usually a bit random if I feel like it. It is in the morning, so if you want an excuse to goof off work, come see me on Twitch, stupid_Mnky. And sometimes I have my dog and I'll hold him up to the camera.
Classic. Yeah. Dude, man, fuck anybody that makes their dog part of their content. That's fucking Bush League.
Nah, he's just, like I said, he sits on my, I know. He sits on my lap. Much like Millie, he doesn't care if I swear or get mad at a video game.
Yeah.
He does look indignant when I pick him up to hold him up to the camera, but then he just goes back to sleep. So
dogs are the best. All right, buddy. Listen, thank you for doing this. I appreciate you spending your holiday weekend plowing through Metroid Prime 2 for me, and we'll do it again down the road.
Sounds good, buddy. Have a good one.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Stpd Mnky, thank you so much, you stupid monkey, for giving me a call and talking Metroid Prime 2 and for playing through Metroid Prime 2 to get ready for this episode again. And every single one of you nerds listening to this, whether it was your first Remember the Game or your 366th, thank you so much for giving us a chance. I appreciate it. I know there are so many other retro gaming podcast airlines you could fly with, and you chose us. And for that, we thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. If you didn't hate the show, leave us a good review, would you? I ask every week. I don't know what they do, but I'm going to keep fucking asking for them because that's what the podcasting manual says I'm supposed to do. And if you really want to support us, if you're like, I can't get enough of this subpar podcast, then throw a few bucks at us over at patreon.com/rememberthegame and get access to literally hundreds. If you go with the $3 gets you 2 extra shows a week. It gets you Expansion Pass and Game Patch. $5 gets you Expansion Pass and Game Patch along with Purple Monkey Dishwasher and the Rambling Idiot. If you're at that $5 tier, there is, I believe, very close to 1,000 bonus podcasts waiting for you the second you sign up. Not to mention 366 Remember the Games ad-free with timestamps and a new one every single Wednesday. Plus, join our 1,500 member Discord, vote in our Patreon polls right into the show, about pick the games we cover, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, and pay my bills, which I really appreciate. Because without you guys, I'd be begging Uline for my job back, and they said that's never going to happen. I don't believe them. I bet you if they're always fucking hurting for people. If I tried, maybe someday for a social, if I ever win the lottery, that's how I'll sign off on the internet, is I'll go and apply at Uline and record it and just see how it fucking goes. Anyways, thank you for the support, everybody. Patreon.com/rememberthegame if you're interested. Leave us a good review if you don't hate us. I'm on Twitch whenever I've got time, twitch.tv/memberthegame, not remember, member the game over on Twitch. And I've also got a lot of Let's Plays over on YouTube. Look for Remember the Game on YouTube. You'll find some of my Let's Plays and all that kind of stuff as well. I think that's everything. Next week is bye week. We skipped the last week of every month at Remember the Game now to give me some time to catch up on games. So probably no Remember the Game next week. I'll pull something from our Patreon archives to make sure you still have something to get you through your Wednesday at work. But when we get back in March, man, we're going to be kicking the month off with Tubin, the NES/arcade game. I fucking love that game. And then the plan is to talk some Max Payne and mix in some Fear. The campaign, because I think the multiplayer's offline, but I don't play multiplayer anyway. So March should be a banger, should be a good time. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. I very much appreciate you. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers. So long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to say all their names as quickly as I can. So we're going to go alphabetical order based on your email addresses this week. A huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer Slick Motherfucking Rick, Tyler Doogie Bowser MD, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, AB Killing Just a Fish, Adam Martinet, a dude named Adam, Akiris Network, A-Town, Infinity Rage, Alex R, Andy Hudson, Dave Thompson, Toby OP, you heard about Pluto, Pee-wee Squitters, Andrew Wright, Zamatos, Brandon DeZeba, Eldest Millennial, Legendberry, Hagel Waffle, Dissect That Dan, Nordak, Darky, Frost 11, Blobby, Christopher Lee Williams, B Money, Matt Babanu, General Fury, Daniel Cook, High Plains Drifter, Elijah Burns, a Roger Staubach Spool Cleaner, Bula, Mild Oatmeal, The Maritime Musician, Cody Thompson, Muncal, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Sears Catalog. That one's new. I like that one. Chris Fleury, Lewis Bell, Exotic Chaotic, Chris Hill isn't scared. That could be anyone's ass. 333, Topher Love, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Christian Gabriel, Christopher Britt, Drugs Bad, MK, Spider Cat, Chris Nethercutt, Cody Donaldson, Discount Psyop, Juris Dr. Mario, Robbie Ayers, Cesar, Fallen Snow Kiku, Archangel Otaku, Darbles, Funderleaps, Davis Feith, Decoy Man, the Supreme Chozorizo, Devin Collins, David Schroeder, Scotty McGee, Muffin Man Jr., Joe the Sandman, MacGyver 88, Brother Retro, Ida Yellow, Eddie Dean 819, Eric Hopewell, Flater Flav, please refrain from tasting the knob. Crystalis got shafted by a pole again. E-Man Trucker, Big the Cat, Shut Up, Frank Preves, Growly Wog, Little Bunny Fufu 89, VOS Rager, Generic Name 238, Graham Kennedy, G9PSX, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Maverick Marty, Jameer Williams, Diablo Spartan, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why, Faded Sufferance, Holmes, Liquor Like Luigi, Governor Blank, Amanda Hugginkiss, Phil Lencher, Isaiah, Spartman Forever, James Juan Francesco, It's That Nerd James, Sharonic, Max Legroom, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Can't Destroy Her, Jake Carter, Thrill Ho, George Swan, Jane Ass Nasty15, The Big Deal, Jay Callahan, Jeff Leopard, Beaver Boy, Laces Out Dad, Johnny from Virginia, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Jonathan Breyer, Chugger22, Jordan, King Tiki Tiki, Zombie Exy, Jeff Bergeron, Hello Mr. Thompson, Stud Still Smash, Steaming Wooly, No One Cares, Too Much Karma, Justin Blair, Justin Tate, Jinxie425, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Sleeper Hit, Jort King Keegs, Junior Bob Dobbs, or JR Bob Dobbs, pardon me, My Left Nut, Kevin Monroe, Marcus Mendoza, Ryan Kinchin, Postman, Caveman Lance, Landed Turquoise, Game Boy Gannon, Aaron Lawson, Lindsay Lee, Gabe Smith, Mark Sneed, Lucas Shaman, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, Leroy Westrich, Mikey Hag, Angry Ticks, Alex McIntyre, Proud Slurm Addict, Bob Sacamano, Better Mousetrap Guitars, Lord Salazar, Just Car Pranks, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Beat Dingleberry, McCracken, Bitch Ass Brian, Morgan, JSK Fusick, Redline Arrow Jones, iSocket Dis, I don't get it. Nick Creature, sorry, I don't understand. So are you dissing eye sockets? I don't like eye sockets either. Nick Creature, Musty Beetle, Just James, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Wilco, Frosty Bear, Lord Palmerstein, Ryan Perry, Cannon Fodder Games, Lotus, Hits Meals, Randy Barrage, Horror Wars Podcast, Siegfried, Big Daddy Randall, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Brian Richmond, Northern, Monstrous D. Boner, Rob Lindsay, Why the Surgeon Who Isn't a Surgeon Rome, Adam Nudsitch, Days Wraith, Ryan 4664, Squeak Nuts, Mercury 869, Sam Carpenter, Storm Beagle, Flinny 123, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scott Brooks, Captain Asbury Juice, Steve Dulk, Erotic Onion Ring, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Super Science, Farioth, Shane's World, DBXJ, Shoeboxers, Jimothy, Scotty J, Sour Goat Face, Squints, Newman, Spooky Dookie, Ted Explosion, Captain Black, Silver, Scary Terry, T-Bear 87, Mike Maloney, Tim Maverick, Tadpole, Thomas Smith, Bot Fokker, Timothy Sabrinsky, Doogie, Beers of War, Fuzzy99, Quiet Place Queen, Travis Sanders, Mr. Jabroni, Conebread, I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, Because 19, Penguin Milk, Wolf Magic 21, Lord Longron, Von Hugendom II, Tyler Patchell, Ryan Whitcomb, Rush's Dog Walker, Works for Me, Dean Donian, Wolfgang Darren, Self High 5, Earl, Darth Skywalter, Kia Pup, Carl Not Garl, Mopey 36, Missouri, The Okayest of Muffin, Zane Donovan, Queer Al Yanker Dick, and Zach Shepard. That's a pretty good fucking batch of shout-outs right there. I think I'm going to tilt my chair in celebration. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you on the next one. Au revoir.